Sir Ratan Tata was one of the most respected industrialists in the world who played a crucial role in shaping India's economy. From automobiles and jewellery to electronics and even salt, you use the Tata product almost every single day. And that's why the Tata Group is the largest conglomerate in India today, leading in terms of annual revenue, profits as well as market cap. However, things were quite different not too long ago. Back in 1991, while Tata was already a notable industrial group in India, it wasn't nearly as big as it is today. But during Ratan Tata's leadership of Tata Sons from 1991 to 2012, the group's revenue increased by 40 times while the profits increased by 50 times. And the strong foundation he built continues to drive Tata's dominance in India long after he stepped down. The Tata Group paid 2.06% of the entire corporate tax collection of India last year. And TCS alone stands as the world's largest IT services company with a market cap of $178 billion. That is more than twice the market cap of the entire stock exchanges of Pakistan, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh combined. It is the fourth largest employer in India with over 6 lakh employees. And it's not just in IT. Tata Steel, Tata Motors and Tanishq by Titan are industry leaders in their respective fields in India. But the Tata Group's reach extends far beyond India as well because it operates in over 150 countries. By the time Ratan Tata retired, Tata had become the largest industrial employer in the UK, the same country that once ruled India for centuries. Now you would think that the chairman of such a massive conglomerate would certainly be the richest man in India, right? But where Ambani and Adani have net worths exceeding $100 billion, Sir Ratan Tata's net worth was not even $1 billion because he gave almost all of it away. He was perhaps the most philanthropic industrialist India has ever seen because 66% of the profits of Tata Trust were donated to charity. His personal ownership in Tata Sons, the parent company of the Tata Group, is just 0.83%. And the Tata Group has never invested in the alcohol or tobacco business. So how did Ratan Tata manage to increase the revenue of Tata by 40 times in just 20 years? While he is worshipped today as the man who could do no wrong, what were the untold resistances that he had to overcome when he became the chairman in 1991? And who has succeeded Ratan Tata after he passed away? You will find out the answers to all these questions as I take you through the untold life story of Sir Ratan Tata. Ratan Tata was born in 1937 to Naval Tata, who was the adopted son of Ratanji Tata, Jamsetji Tata's younger son. So JRD Tata, who preceded Ratan Tata as the leader, was Ratan Tata's adoptive uncle. When Ratan Tata was 10 years old, his parents separated and he started living with his grandmother, so he developed a close bond with her. In 1955, he went to Cornell University and pursued a degree in architecture, after which he was preparing to settle for a job in the US. But in 1961, his grandmother convinced him to return to India and look after the family business, expressing a strong belief that he belonged to his country. So in 1961, when JRD Tata's chairmanship was at its peak, Ratan Tata joined the company as an apprentice on the shop floor of a Tata Steel plant. And for the next decade, he worked hard and climbed his way up the ladder, and in 1971, he was appointed director of Nelco. Nelco was an electronics company under Tata that made radio and communication devices. But by 1971, Nelco was struggling. Its market share had dropped to just 2% due to poor management and outdated products. So Ratan Tata was brought in to turn Nelco around, and his performance was extraordinary. He modernized the company and innovated in emerging areas like television manufacturing. So as a result, Nelco's market share surged from 2% to 20% within 4 years. However, in 1975, the government declared an emergency which created external economic challenges and forced Nelco to shut down. But Ratan Tata's leadership had already caught the attention of JRD Tata, and he decided to continue mentoring him. So in 1977, Ratan Tata was put in charge of Empress Mills, a Tata Group textile company that was also struggling like Nelco. But despite his efforts, Empress Mills faced the same fate. Eventually, it had to shut down due to a lack of capital. However, JRD Tata saw Ratan Tata's leadership potential and did not lose faith in him. JRD was a master jeweler who could spot a diamond in the rough. So in 1981, he was appointed chairman of Tata Industries, the division responsible for driving innovations and new ventures for the Tata Group. And finally, in 1991, his mentor and uncle JRD Tata decided to step down, naming him the chairman of Tata Sons, the holding company of Tata Group. But what exactly is Tata Sons and how does it connect to the Tata Group? You see, the Tata Group actually consists of about 29 listed companies. And here is how the ownership of these companies works. Each of these companies operates independently completely as separate entities, while a private central entity called Tata Sons holds a majority stake in them. But Tata Sons itself is not owned by any single entity. It is a holding company that has multiple shareholders, and the largest shareholders of Tata Sons are not individuals but trusts. Sir Dorabji Tata Trust holds 27.98% of Tata Trust, while Sir Ratan Tata Trust holds 23.56%. And along with other trusts like the JRD Tata Trust, Tata Trusts hold about 66% of Tata Sons. So this means that the chairman of Tata Trust is effectively the true leader of the Tata Group. That was JRD Tata until 1991, after which the leadership was passed on to Ratan Tata. Now you would think that when Ratan Tata took over the group in 1991, he instantly became an ultra respected leader worshipped by everyone at Tata, right? But that's a classic narrative fallacy and completely untrue. Because respect and loyalty can't be inherited, they must be earned. You see, when Ratan Tata became chairman, Tata Sons had stakes in about 95 different companies across multiple sectors. According to Tata's own website, it was a bloated group that had become extremely bureaucratic and decentralized. So each major company had its independent but powerful leader who did what he thought was right. And these leaders had been in their roles for decades. So they had a strong influence within the company, even though they were growing more resistant to instructions from Tata Sons. Now while these leaders respected JRD Tata as he was the one who shaped them, Ratan Tata was an outsider to them. In fact, the internal resistance was particularly strong from heads of Tata's largest companies like Tata Steel, Tata Motors and Tata Tea. They saw Ratan Tata as an intruder far less capable than JRD Tata, someone who became chairman just because of his surname. Rusi Modi, who was the leader of Tata Steel, even went as far as to call Ratan Tata a clown. His rise to chairman also happened during a pivotal moment in India's history when the liberalization reforms of 1991 were being introduced and license Raj abolished, and the Indian economy was suddenly opened up to foreign competitors as well. So the odds were heavily stacked against Ratan Tata. He had enormous shoes to fill, his own employees doubted him, and he faced internal and external challenges. But what happened next would go down as one of the greatest business stories of all time. Ratan Tata quickly realized that to bring real change, he needed to regain control. So he started centralizing the entire Tata Group immediately. In 1992, he introduced a new retirement policy that required directors to retire at the age of 75. And this move was like an adrenaline shot for the Tata Group. Old leaders who were slow and resistant to change were suddenly replaced with new blood that was hungry for innovation. Rusi Modi, who had been at Tata Steel for 53 years, was also forced to retire due to this new policy. And then Ratan Tata also started increasing Tata Sons' shareholding stake in the group's subsidiaries, which ensured he maintained control and prevented other companies from taking over. He also introduced a royalty fee, and all Tata companies had to pay Tata Sons for using the Tata brand name. And just like that, within a few months, he had taken firm control of the entire group and he was ready to implement his growth strategy. But before he started expanding, he wanted to ensure that the foundation and basics were right. And he realized that to truly dominate, the Tata Group had to focus on its core sectors, because managing 90 companies and turning them all into industry leaders wasn't practical. So he started exiting businesses that were not a part of his long-term vision. For example, Tata Oil Mills, which produced Hammam and Moti soaps, were sold off to HUL. And Lakme, an Indian cosmetic brand started by the Tata Group, was also sold off to HUL, even though it was quite popular, simply because it was not a part of his core vision. ACC Cements also used to be a Tata brand that was sold. And once he gained back control and set the Tata Group on the right path, he started an aggressive and bold expansion spree that only few could dare to undertake. See, he followed a strategy guided by two key directions. The first focused on India, where he decided to tap into the emerging class of Indians by creating innovative products like never before. Like in 1998, Tata Motors launched Tata Indica, the first passenger car fully designed and built in India. And Ratan Tata was personally involved in the design of Indica, and to manufacture the car in India, he pulled off one of the biggest jugaads of all time. You see, at that time, a new car manufacturing plant would have cost upwards of $2 billion, a sum that Tata Motors simply could not afford. So he found a disused car manufacturing plant of Nissan in Australia, took it apart, shipped the components back to India, and then reassembled it in Pune, all in just 6 months. And just like that, he was able to get the plant at 1/6 of the $2 billion estimate. Then he also saw the potential of IT services early on and nurtured TCS, which actually started way back in 1960s. Eventually, he took TCS public in 2004 and transformed it into India's largest IT company. Even last year, TCS was responsible for over half of the Tata Group's entire profits. So the first direction was to expand in India with new groundbreaking products. And the second direction was to expand and take the existing products to the international markets. Before Ratan Tata took over, the Tata Group had a minimal international presence. Only 10% of their revenue came from outside of India. But then Ratan Tata went on an international expansion spree. In 2000, the Tata Group expanded Tata Tea's global presence by acquiring Tetley, a London-based company that was the world's second largest producer of tea bags. Tetley was 3 times the size of the entire Tata Group that bought it out. Then in 2007, Ratan Tata acquired Chorus Steel, a major European steel maker, for $12 billion. It was the largest foreign acquisition by an Indian company at that time, and it immediately turned Tata into a major player in the global steel industry. But the most memorable acquisition came in 2008. It was personal revenge for the otherwise calm Ratan Tata, and I'll explain how in the next 30 seconds. You see, although Indica eventually turned out to be a success, its initial sales after its launch in 1998 were poor and it was struggling. So in 1999, Ratan Tata went to meet Ford's CEO Bill Ford in the US, offering to sell their struggling car business to Ford. But Bill Ford reportedly mocked Tata, questioning why he tried to make a car when he knew nothing about car manufacturing at all. So Ratan Tata left feeling humiliated, and he dropped the idea of selling and instead renewed his commitment to making their cars succeed. But fast forward to 2008 and the tables had turned. Now it was Ford with its struggling luxury car division Jaguar and Land Rover. By then Tata Motors had grown much stronger, so Ratan Tata stepped in and bailed Ford out by purchasing JLR for $2.3 billion, a move that became one of the greatest revenge stories in business. But it wasn't just an impulsive act of revenge. Ratan Tata also managed to turn JLR around, increasing its sales by over 250% in just 7 years. In fact, his international strategy was so effective that by the time he stepped down, Tata Group's revenue share from overseas increased from 10% to 67%. But while his achievements are impressive, they aren't exactly unique. Mukesh Ambani did a similar thing with Reliance, and if you're talking about creating businesses, then some might argue that Gautam Adani did even better. So why is only Ratan Tata respected so much? Well, that is because of his core principles of putting public welfare before profits. For example, he once saw a middle-class family riding unsafely on a scooter drenched in rain, and that inspired him to launch Tata Nano in 2008, the most affordable car at that time. And while other leaders might stay away during a terrorist attack like the 26/11 attack on Tata's Taj Hotel in Mumbai in 2008, Ratan Tata was right outside the hotel for 3 days until the evacuation was finished. He personally ensured that every employee affected received compensation and help, and he even established the Taj Welfare Trust to help the victims. And recall that Tata Trust holds around 66% of the shares in Tata Sons. But all profits that the trust receives are directed to charitable initiatives, including education, healthcare, and rural development. The Tata Medical Center is a cancer hospital that dedicates 75% of its facilities to the underprivileged people, all funded by the Tata Trusts. And that is also the reason why Ratan Tata's net worth was not even $1 billion when he passed away. He gave away almost all of what he earned. Now the big question is, who will succeed Sir Ratan Tata? See, as I explained earlier, there are 2 key positions in the Tata Group. The first is the chairman of Tata Sons, who is the main decision maker for the entire Tata Group. Ratan Tata left this post in 2012 when he turned 75 years old as per his own policy. And after a turbulent 5-year tenure under Cyrus Mistry, who was eventually removed by Ratan Tata, Natarajan Chandrasekaran was appointed as the chairman in 2017, and he will continue to hold that post. The second key position is the chairman of the Tata Trust. These are the same trusts which hold a majority stake in the entire Tata Group, as I explained earlier. And after Ratan Tata passed away, Noel Tata has been appointed as the chairman of Tata Trusts. But who is Noel Tata and how did he end up succeeding the legendary Ratan Tata? Well, he is the half-brother of Ratan Tata, because after Ratan Tata's father separated from his mother, he remarried and had a son with his second wife, whose name is Noel Tata. Noel Tata has actually been with the Tata Group for over 40 years, where he held key positions like the managing director at Tata Trend for more than 11 years, which is Tata's retail arm that manages chains like Zudio and Bestside. And this was how Sir Ratan Tata's aggressive leadership transformed the Tata Group, while his soft dedication to welfare and philanthropy fundamentally changed the lives of millions of Indians for decades to come. If you made it this far, subscribe here and follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram. The link is in the description below. If you want to build your own D2C store, check out the link to my e-com masterclass below. Until I see you in the next video, goodbye.